My 30 male, wife 31, and I have been together for 5 years. She works from home and I work from the office. My team sent me across state lines for a week, and I was set to return on Tuesday. Now, this weekend was extremely crucial for one of us to be there, as the landlord was sending over professionals to get the vents cleaned out. Currently, the temperatures are fine and we don't need AC, but soon we will. Also, the next time the landlord will make the professionals available will be several weeks from now, and by that time, summer will have already rolled in. I had requested my wife to stay put on the weekend I was going away, because the landlord was doing it free of charge, and if we were to have professionals ourselves, we would have to pay a couple of $100s. We need to get the vents cleaned since when we turned on the AC one day, there was a horrible smell. Maybe a rat died in the thing, and we quickly closed them and opened the windows. I was out of state, assuming the vents had been cleaned out. When I returned, my wife said she had been invited on a road trip by her girlfriends, and she couldn't say no, as she hadn't seen them in a long time. I was furious for being so irresponsible. I told her, okay, the extra cost for getting the cleaners now will be deducted from her fund money account. We have 3 bank accounts, our 2 individual accounts for fund money and 1 joint account. She absolutely refused. She said I get to go out and have fun and beers while she works from home. She deserves an outing, and she didn't think of saying no. We both had agreed she would supervise things, and she never let me know she went out with her friends. I never gave her orders, but this was an important job to fix, and I wanted her to act like my partner for once. This caused an argument but no resolution, and she kicked me out of our bedroom. This made me madder than her refusal to pay in full or stay home. I felt emasculated for being kicked out of my own darn bedroom, and that too for 3 nights. Her birthday was also coming up in a few days, and I managed to score some tickets for a musical theater performance in our city. They're fairly exclusive, and she was looking forward to us going, as she's a big fan for what they would be performing that night. I disinvited her, and she flew into a mad rage. I told her that this was her consequence for what she did, prioritizing a road trip and kicking me out of our room, and didn't do, staying home for the professionals and agreeing to compensate from her fund money account. I instead extended an invite to my other friend, who happily accepted, and we went. Even on her birthday, she took the time and effort to dress up, presented herself to me, and casually asked if we were supposed to leave by now. It's almost as if she forgot what happened, still thinking I wouldn't go through with it, what I said I'd do. I shrugged my shoulders and said she was delusional for even thinking that. I left the house with her looking paler than ever. It was oddly satisfying. When I came back, she was crying, but still looked like she was seething. She screamed at me for ruining a birthday over a few $100s and said she would never forgive me for what I did. I reminded her that she kicked me out of our room. How could she expect me to be nice to her? And that I was glad to know she was miserable all day. Did I go too far? Are you guys married because your family's told to do so? Jesus, everyone's the idiot here. Dude, do you even like each other at all? What's this tit for tat? You sound like 2 entitled teenagers. An eye for an eye never ended well. Just break up already. What a crappy marriage. This sounds like a game of retaliation. You sound condescending and dismissive of your wife, and you both seem unable to act like adults. Seriously. Okay, she made a bad choice by going on a last-minute birthday trip with her friends. She should have owned it and agreed to pay for the future vent cleaning. But to take away the theater tickets, take someone else, and enjoy ruining her birthday is just gross. I wouldn't want to sleep next to you either. Just divorce. Please don't have kids. Your relationship is toxic. The difference is that she made an irresponsible choice. You made a hurtful choice and enjoyed it. Yep, I read all this, and all I can think of was the book The War of the Roses. This book is not about the historical English Civil War, but about a married couple, the Roses, who literally destroyed their home around them in the midst of an awful divorce. I expect 30-year-olds to know how to de-escalate a situation instead of making things worse. My 42 female teen daughter is not my husband's biological daughter. Her dad decided after I got pregnant that the mom of his child wasn't the woman he wanted to marry and was not in my daughter's life. It was just me and my daughter for the next 7 years until I married my husband. We had 3 kids in quick succession after we got married. They're now a male preteen, a female preteen, and a female kindergartner. I recently found out that I was pregnant, and that has made my marriage worse. My daughter's dad first lived off of others, giving him money to be an equestrian. Later, I found out that he started getting hired as a riding instructor and helping others take care of their horses. His inconsistent income and 1099 status were what he used to dodge his financial responsibilities. I started my daughter on this path as a hobby, but it was clear that she was talented. I would work a second job as a stable aide so she could afford these lessons, drive other kids to and from lessons, and do other odd jobs to put towards her training expenses until I married my husband and became a stay-at-home mom. My husband was very supportive of her pursuit until she entered high school. We were looking into possible future scholarships, which I understand are rare, to come from her competing at colleges with equestrian programs. My husband started lying about how my daughter didn't want to do this and how he loved her more than me because he understood her better. He embarrassed me by complaining about the other moms whose kids competed, saying they were snobs, that he didn't want me to try to fit in with them or get their approval. Then he complained to parents about the new group lesson cost, etc. I found out I was pregnant and went with my daughter to an event. I got too sick and tired to attend a school open house, and he flipped out on me when he came home. We got into a fight, and he told me that this wasn't working out. I feel he said that to scare me, but I wasn't scared of divorce because I'm not going to grovel for his approval, and I can't make it work without him. I told him I'd happily grant his divorce. He then says he wants joint custody of all the kids. I told him that he legally has no grounds with my daughter. He says she can still come to his place when he has the other kids, and I remind him she doesn't have a license, and I don't owe him any agreement to drive her to his place. He screams, "She's my stepdaughter. I've been her dad." I told him he couldn't just want to divorce his pregnant wife and get the benefits of that, including my general cooperation with this divorce, and still claim the title of my daughter's stepdad. He can't have his cake and eat it too. Legally, I'm in the right since he never adopted her. He does not want to support my daughter's goals. With a divorce, he doesn't have the responsibility that being an equestrian's parent entails. All her bills would be coming out of my account, but that means he can't continue to enjoy all the benefits of that without any of the responsibility. I don't think that's fair. I told my daughter that her stepdad wants a divorce because he absolutely hates paying for her lessons and says that they're making her into a snob like me and the other moms. She's a people pleaser, so she'd say yes to seeing him and not hurt his feelings. But she said that if he really hates her because she wants to be an equestrian, then she just wants to continue her passion, and it seems most conducive to do so where she's living with me and not seeing somebody who actively wants to stop her future dreams. Am I the idiot? I don't understand what you're arguing about here. He's been in her life and been her only father figure from her tween through her teen years. How is he not her stepdad? Also, if you have to drive your other kids to exchange custody, how's your daughter being included going to mean that you must drive any more than you would anyway? Sounds like you're weaponizing your kid here to hurt him because of the divorce. He is divorcing you, not your kids. Why would you want to make your daughter lose the only positive male role model in her life? You are the idiot. Right? That is some pretty evil stuff to blame the divorce to your daughter on your daughter's equestrian bills. Look in the mirror a bit, OP. This seems like more of the tip of the iceberg, where 90% of what's going on is not this. Put aside your pettiness and think for just a minute about something besides yourself. How is your position even remotely in your daughter's best interest? Blaming the kid for the divorce? What a wonderful mother. This is honestly the worst thing you could do in a divorce. I can't fathom a parent inflicting pain on their child to hurt their partner. Both the daughter and the husband deserve so much better than OP. She's literally treating her daughter like a personal vendetta tool. No consideration for ripping away the man she's obviously seemed to have considered a father. Legally, he has no right? Get out of here. Truly the mother of the year. Also, knowing the culture around horses, I'm very likely to agree with the father's version of events. My female 19, little brother teen, was an usher at my brother's 28 wedding. The entire men's side of the wedding party wore kilts. The bridesmaids wore dresses that matched the tartan. It looked really cool. This absolute witch got intoxicated at the reception and kept trying to see if it was true about men in kilts. All the guys, including my brother, told her to leave them alone. I think the only guy she didn't harass was the groom. Some of the boys were outside the hall talking and vaping when she went out there. I was there already. She literally started chasing Andrew around to look under his kilt. The other guys were telling her to stop and hiding behind them. I had had enough. I went over, grabbed her arm, and gave her a little slap. Not a full-handed Russian competition slap, just a cupped palm slap that made a lot of noise but didn't hurt much. That stunned her. She started screaming that she was going to call the cops. I asked her how old she was. She said, "I'm only 18, you witch." I said that she was harassing a teen younger than herself in front of witnesses. I asked her if she wanted me to call the cops for her. She started saying she was just playing around and wasn't trying that. I asked her if the genders were reversed and an 18-year-old guy was trying to look under a younger girl's skirt, what would she think? She went back into the hall, but a lot of people were talking about it when I came back in. My brother, the groom, said I did the right thing, but that it was causing drama with his wife's family. I slapped her cousin. I went to where she was crying and I apologized for the slap. I didn't try to explain why I did it. I was just sorry I slapped her. She accepted my apology and I tried to walk away. Her mom, and aunt of the bride, said I'd be lucky if they didn't call the cops. I asked her to ask her daughter if she wanted that. She was very emphatic and did not want to involve the police. The drama died down and the rest of the reception went well. I've heard from a few people that I shouldn't be starting fights at weddings. I just said I was stopping bad behavior. We just dropped them off for their flight and are on the way home from the airport. My mom said I was lucky that it didn't go further than an apology and that I could have gotten into real trouble. I'm kind of sick of holding in why I did it, so I told her the next time she was okay with her kid being harassed, she needed to let me know. Now she's steaming mad that no one told her what happened. I can't win. No, you're absolutely not the idiot. You were just protecting your brother. I'm so sorry this happened, but good for you for standing up for him. And you're absolutely right. If the gender was switched, people would be having a cow. I hope your brother's okay and that you're an excellent sister. I don't care where I'm at. If I see anyone doing that too, I would have said something and probably done what you did. While violence is usually never the answer, you did apologize and I think that's commendable. It sounds like your sister-in-law's cousin needs to grow up. She sounds immature. Girl, you did fine, and it was just a slap. Some of the weddings I've been to, cripes. The one most on point featured a grabby uncle getting his nose smashed in by his nephew, the groom. The chatter in that room was off the charts until the nearly adult maid of honor started telling folks why. After that, the uncle's son kept an eye on him, ensuring he stayed locked in the back of his truck until their mother was ready to take him home. I've been married to Matt for 3 years and together for 6. I just gave birth to our daughter a few months ago. My stepdaughter, Anna, a young teen, loves her sister very much and always asks for her. But a month ago, after I took my daughter back from her, I looked down and saw a lice bug in my daughter's hair. I immediately panic and ask my stepdaughter if she has head lice. She starts dodging the question, so I look for myself, and she's loaded. If I had been more observant prior, I'm sure I would have caught it or seen the signs. Admittedly, I hadn't paid much attention to anything since I gave birth. I talked to my husband about it, and he contacted his ex. His ex told him that she had known about the lice thing for a few weeks, and that they had combed through the hair and done one treatment. My stepdaughter has extremely thick hair that reaches her butt. It would take more than one treatment and a comb through. So I went out and bought nearly $80 worth of treatment and did her hair myself. Combed through it for almost 3 hours, but it was going to need a follow-up. And I told my husband's ex as much, and even sent the product home with her. Well, this past weekend, Anna came back over, and needless to say, her hair is right back to what it was. She's loaded. I asked if her mom had even gone through her hair, and she shrugged and said a little. I told her at this point that she needed to cut her hair. There's no way I can get rid of it, or at least manage it properly, with her hair being this long and this thick. She immediately said no. She's very fond of her hair, and I don't blame her. It's beautiful. But I blatantly told her I couldn't have her around the baby with head lice. I can't treat the baby, and I can't use a lice comb because of her soft spot. So she can only be around the baby if she comes up with a compromise. I told her she's old enough to be going through her own head as well, so she should be doing that, if not anything else. She just got snappy with me and slammed off to her room. I got a nasty phone call a half hour later from her mother, stating that I'm darn ignorant to try forcing her kid to chop her hair off over an issue that they're taking care of, and said these things take time, but you traumatize her and ruin her self-image and threaten to keep the baby away from her instead of be an actual parent and help. I just hung up. I then told my husband that he needed to handle it, but his daughter was not welcome here until the issue was resolved because I wouldn't have a chance for our daughter to get head lice. Everyone's angry at me right now and thinking I'm pushing my stepdaughter away because I have a baby now and have replaced her. Am I the idiot? Edit. Prior to this, I suggested that she put her hair up and wear something over it. She refuses because it gives her migraines. I don't wish that she would cut her hair off, but it's the fact that she and her mother aren't doing anything to take care of the issue. In 2 months, her mom has done 1 treatment and 2 comb-throughs and expects me to do the rest with a breastfeeding infant. I'm not even supposed to be around the treatment because of the fact that I'm breastfeeding. This isn't a normal, oh, there's a few bugs type of infestation. On the first swipe I did through her hair, the comb was full and bugs were falling off onto the floor and on me. This is a neglectful, DHHS-worthy infestation, and considering her mother doesn't work, there's zero excuse for her not to be doing it. My husband's on active duty currently, and will be deployed for at least 2 months. He was here when we initially found out his daughter was infested, and he helped me comb through and do all the treatments. He left 3 days later for his deployment. He's only angry at me for banning his daughter from the house because Anna still comes here when he's on active duty and wants to continue doing so because she wants to see the baby. Not the idiot. As a young teen, she can look after it herself if it affects her self-image so much. Good Lord, she could have gotten lice in the bedding or on a stuffed animal, and that would have gotten on the baby. Sorry, but lice are scary, and unfortunately, this is happening to your stepdaughter, but you're being made into a scapegoat. Her mom is neglecting it. It's insane to me that having head lice doesn't affect her self-image at her age. No way my young teen would have wanted to be friends with someone that had lice for 2 months. They're blaming OP for the kid's self-image problems, while they're sending her to school with a head full of bugs? Because we all know middle school kids are super gentle and empathetic about things like this. If I were the other kid's parent, I'd go ape over that. Cutting her hair isn't going to help the situation. Contact your school nurse and advise that the mom isn't treating the live infestation. It's got to be all over their house, and she's putting other students and their families at risk. Do not let her back into your house until she can pass a visual inspection. Her mother needs to reset the kid, her house, bedding, pillows, clothes, and furniture. It's everywhere.